and welcome to Thursday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic on the first day of the Open Golf Championship, which is a very important day, of course, in any calendar. And what have we got for you today? We have got Renban Shooter by Lavaloid. I'm not sure I've ever done a puzzle by Lavaloid before, but this one comes very highly commended indeed from our Discord server. So I'm going to look forward to this. I even look forward to the fact I have got given digits in this one, and apparently it is approachable, whatever that means. We shall see. But huge news, huge news. The most requested thing that we've had on the channel for the last 2 or 3 years has been, please can we play our own Sudokus in your software? The answer, finally, today, is yes, because our programmer Sven has managed to create Sudoku Pad, which is basically an app. It's available. It's out right now on Google Play. There's a link under the video to it. It's meant to be out on Apple, but Apple are tardy. And it's meant to be out very soon on Amazon. Amazon seems to be less tardy, and it should be out on that very soon as well. And basically, yeah, it does what it says on the tin. You can put your own Sudokus into our software and then play them. And we've even included 12 handmade Sudokus that Mark and I have made as well to sort of tempt you in, if you like. So we really hope that you like it. Let us know in the comments. If you do buy it and you do enjoy it, please give it a nice review. Let's try and get it up the Sudoku rankings. There's an awful lot of Sudoku claptrap on the various app stores and Android sort of shop windows, and we're trying to encourage a whole culture change towards handcrafted stuff. So if you want to be part of that, do have a look at this. We're really proud of it, and we hope that you like it too. Anything else to mention? Yes, in fact there is, because of course over on our Patreon site we have got we've got Jovial Sudoku Extravaganza, which is 20 puzzles long. We've got the Murder Mystery Hunt, which I'm not telling you how many puzzles that is in case it gives anything away, but I think between those two hunts we've had well over 1,100 correct solutions to those two hunts in the last 15 days, which is quite a lot. So if you want to, I mean, just go, if you're a patron of the channel, do go over to Patreon and try those puzzles. We know you'll love them. Now, let's get on to Renban Shooter, and I'll read you the rules. We have got normal Sudoku rules apply. In cages, digits must sum to the small clue in the top left corner of the cage, and digits cannot repeat within a cage. So normal Killer Sudoku rules. If you've not come across Killer Sudoku before, it's very simple. Those 3 squares sum to 20. Don't do something like that, because although those 3 digits add up to 20, you've repeated the 9 in the cage, and that is bad. Naughty. Don't be naughty. Now, each grey line contains a set of consecutive non-repeating digits in any order. So this is the Renban constraint. So let's find a grey line. Let's find that one. That seems to be the longest, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this grey line here has to contain some set of 6 consecutive digits. So it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then we could put the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in any order. So it's not like a thermo Sudoku where you have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In fact, that wouldn't work because look, that would cause a clash. You can put them in any order you like. Just make sure that the digits overall on the line are a consecutive set and they don't have any repeats, and you'll be good to go. So do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. Now I get to play. Let's get cracking. And my eyes are instantly drawn. I cannot deny it. Look at this generosity. A 6 cage in 3 cells. Now this doesn't happen very often. In fact, I can get a digit. I can get a digit within about 10 seconds. That's amazing. So how do we do this? Well, 1, 2, and 3 add to 6. So that cage is forced. And this is on a grey Renban line with the 1, 2, and 3. Once you get a 1 on a Renban line, you know what the digits are on the Renban line because it's got to be a consecutive set. So this has got to be the 4 because it can't be a 0, basically. That's what we can say about that. Now, actually, that short stubby Renban line is now a little bit interesting because what digit cannot go on this Renban line? 9 can't go on it. 9 can't go on it because the 8 that would have to then be on it would clash. So given this Renban line can't be 1, 2, 3 or 4 or 8 or 9, it's only got the options of being 5, 6 or 7, which means there is a 6 on this Renban line, because 5 and 7, if we put those on it, they would not be consecutive. So 6 maybe in box 9 is restricted. No, it's not. Although I'm now looking at this W pentomino with interest, because there is something I know about a 3-cell Renban line. I can't remember, I think it was Codec. Codec did a Renban puzzle a while ago that was all basically around arithmetic related to Renban lines. Now, one thing I know from that puzzle is that any 3 consecutive digits have to be divisible by 3. And we can prove that to ourselves mathematically, because let's imagine this cell was x. Let's say the next consecutive cell was x plus 1, and the next one was x plus 2. Then this Renban line would add up to 3x plus 3. And 3x plus 3 is divisible by 3, because if you divide the 3x by 3, you get x, and if you divide the 3 by 3, you get 1. So we know that any 3 consecutive numbers must be divisible by 3, and this cage is divisible by 3, and that means those 2 squares must be divisible by 3 as well. And that means that they could be a lot of different things. Because this could be as small as 1, 2, 3, or as large as 5, 6, 7, and that's annoying. So basically those have lots of options. They could be adding up to 3, they could be adding up to 6, they could be adding up to 9, they could be adding up to 12, and they could be adding up to 15. So we know almost diddly squat about those, I'm afraid, so we've got to look somewhere else. We have a square Renban line here. Do we know anything about that? Yes, we do. Yes, in fact, we know something very simple about that. If we think about 4 consecutive, pick any 4 consecutive digits in existence, and we know that two of those squares, you can tell I do a lot of Sudoku, 2 of those digits are going to be even, and 2 of them are going to be odd. Now, if you add up 2 even digits, you get an even digit, and if you add up the 2 odd digits, you'll still get an even digit. So we know that this is an even total overall. Now, therefore, we know that square is even. That's worth, or potentially worth noting, isn't it? So this is even, because obviously 20 is even, and the whole lot are even. Now, if that's a 2, that surely is broken, because 3 plus 4 plus 5 definitely does not equal 20, so that cannot be a 2. Can it be a 4? 5, 6, 7, no, it can't be a 4. 5, 6 and 7 only add up to 18. 6 or 8, so if it was 6, we need consecutive digits here that were adding up to 20. Well, 7, 8, 9 won't work, that's too large. So it looks like that would have to be, if this is 6, I think this has to be 5, 7, 8 on the Renban line. And if this is 8, 7, 6 and 5 won't be enough, so we must use the 9. If that's 8, we use the 9, and then we need 11 more, but no, that doesn't work. Okay, I think this has to be a 6. That might be wrong, but I can't see a way of making this work with 8. Yeah, okay. Okay, we can think about this mathematically as well, I think. Because, let's think about a 4-cell Renban line and express the lowest digit on it as x. Then the next lowest digit will be x plus 1, the next lowest digit will be x plus 2, and the last digit will be x plus 3. All of that adds up to 4x plus 6, assuming I've not gone doolally. Now 4x plus 6 is definitely not divisible by 4. And we know that because the 4x bit of it is definitely divisible by 4, but 6 is definitely not divisible by 4. So if this was an 8, this would be divisible by 4, and therefore it would be impossible, because we would be saying we've just proved it can't be. So this must be a 6. and then this must be 5, 7, 8, I think. I'm going to just double check that in a moment, but I'm noticing that that means I can get a 6 down here, so I'm going to just take advantage of that. That means I've got a 6. I've got a 6 on the long Renban line, which is actually completely unsurprising because a 6-cell Renban line, if we think about how we're going to select 6 consecutive digits from the digits 1 to 9, if we start with a 1, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if we start with the 9, we're going to have 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. So there's always a 6. In fact, there's always a 5 and there's always a 4 on this Renban line, which I don't have a good way of notating. Well, I could notate it. I could do it cross boxes, but I don't really want to do that because that will confuse me, no doubt. But that means that square, look, can't be a 6, 5 or a 4, because if you tried to put 5 in there, you now can't put a 5 on the line at all. So that's aha, there you go. So this square here, which sees the whole of the Renban line, can't be 1, 2 or 3, and can't be 4, 5 or 6, because we know there's a 4, 5, 6 on the Renban line. So that's a 7, 8 or a 9. And that means the Renban line can't be a 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4 Renban line. So that means, what does that mean? So it's either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, it's still got 3 options. Oh, okay. Have we got any other easy wins off the back of this? Oh, I wanted to check the 5, 7, 8. Let me just have a think about this again. So I've definitely got a 6 on the line. That was from the parity. Yeah, okay, so that's good. And then I need 3 cells consecutive with 6 that add up to 20. So if we don't go as high as 8, we can't get there. If we go as high as 9, it's too many. So it is 8, 7, 5. Yeah, okay. That one. That one's a bit like this one. In fact, that's interesting. Those are geometrically symmetrical, which is always a bit interesting. So that is divisible by 3. But we know. So here we've got a different problem. Here we've got to select. I've got to select 3 digits from 4 digits. I've got 4 consecutive digits. I'm not being very articulate today. I've got 4 consecutive digits. I have to select 3 of them so that they are divisible by 3. So I think, unless I'm going mad, I either have to select the first 3 digits, the lowest 3, or the highest 3 digits. Otherwise it just can't work. Now, why do I say that? Well, I'm thinking about it in terms of my x's again. Let's imagine that we had an x plus 1, an x plus 2, and an x plus 3 in this box. And I'm selecting 3 of those digits. So whichever 3 I select, the sum of those digits is definitely going to have a component that is 3x. And it's also going to have a component that needs to sum up to a number that is divisible by 3. So that, given the options of x plus 1, x plus 2, and x plus 3, the only numbers I can create from the sort of integer parts of those are either a 3, which would have to be then x plus 1, and x plus 2, and then I would have 3x plus 3, or a 6, which would be x plus 1, x plus 2, x plus 3. So one of those must be true, I think. That feels like a reasonable statement to me, and that means if that's right, those digits are consecutive. And if those digits are consecutive, they're 4, 5 and 6. That is absolutely beautiful. So this is 4, 5 and 6, but we don't, yeah, okay. So mathematically, we don't know whether this is the x or this is the x plus 3. So this has options. That's not a 6 though. That's not a 5 now. So there's a 5 in one of these two squares from our 20 cage. Okay, not seeing how to do that. Oh, right. Okay, right. Now the 6-cell Renban has suddenly become very interesting indeed. Well, this column's become interesting because we know there's a 4, 5 and 6 on the Renban, and therefore the 4, 5 and 6 have to be those squares. Now those squares have got to be 7, 8 and 7, 8 and 9. These two squares are now seriously restricted because they see 4, 5, 6 in the row and 7, 8, 9 in the in their box, so they have to be 1s, 2s and 3s. So now on the rest of this Renban line, I can only have... Oh, this is beautiful. Right, now I know what's on the Renban line. I know the entire contents of this Renban line, because how many digits from 1, 2 and 3 can be in those 3 squares? And the answer is 1, by Sudoku of all things. I know we're doing a Sudoku, but very many times I don't do much Sudoku, much to some people's chagrin. But anyway, there can't be more than one of these cells that's a 1, 2 or a 3, because if 2 of them, say, if we try and put 1, 2 and 3 into 2 of them, we've now got 4 cells in row 4 that have to be 1, 2s and 3s, and that's nonsense. You'll have to repeat a digit. So exactly one of these 3 squares is a 1, 2 or a 3. Now that means, given that this is a Renban line, if I try and put a 1 here, that means I've got to put 2 and 3 on the Renban line. So I would have to have a 2 or a 3 here, and this is going to break with this. If I put 2 on the Renban line, I have to put a 3 on it. That would be in one of those 2 squares, and again I'd have too many low digits in row 4. So the only digit I can put in these 3 squares that's going to work is a 3, and that means the Renban line is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, exactly. So that's 3, 7 and 8. This square becomes a 9. These squares become a 1, 2 pair. Those 3 squares become a 3, 4, 5 triple to complete the box. And we pause for breath, and oh, that's not a 6 by the power of rows. And maybe, can we get this total then now? So we know that one of those is a 6. So 6 plus 9 is 15. So 3 more cells in this 31 cage have to add up to 15. 3 more cells add to 15. So you can't have a 7 and an 8 in there. Otherwise you'd have to put a 0 into another cell here. So that means that square must be a 7 or an 8, which means there's a 3 as well as a 6 in the 31 cage. So now we've got 18 in 3 cells, and we need 2 cells that sum up to 13 that are not 4, 9 and not 6, 7, or you'd repeat the 6, so it must be 5, 8, and that looks like it's possible. If I put the 5 in up here, this becomes a 4. If I put the 8 in here, that becomes a 7. Right, well, let's just have a look at this and see if it adds up. So now we've got 31. That's perfect. So that seems to work. And we can now maybe... Where should we look now? Don't know. I looked at that, didn't I? Maybe this one. We've got a... Oh, we've got more modulo stuff going on, haven't we? We know that these three squares are a number, add up to a number divisible by 3. So they're either adding up to 12. They're not adding up to 12 because that would be an 8, and that's going to clash down there. So they're either adding up to 15 or 18. So this is either a 5 or a 2. And it's right, and it's not 5. Oh, okay. I think I could have started here because I've not actually used the Sudoku at all to do this. If this is a 5, that doesn't work because these three digits have to add up to 15 with consecutive digits, so they're the same as those. They're 4, 5, and 6, and you double the 5 in the cage and the box, which is bad. So this is a 2, and these squares must be 5, 6, and 7, adding up to 18. And that's not a 7. And therefore this is a 7 by the power of 5s and 6s. So that gives us a digit. Oh, and I've got a 6 here, so that's now a 5. That's now a 6. That's a 6 and that's a 5. I've got a 5 now in one of those two squares. I've got quite a few 6s, haven't I? 6, 6, 6. Damien. 7 has got to be in one of those squares. Oh no, it's the 5 that's going horizontal in row 7, not the 7, so we can't resolve that. That Renban line can't contain a 6 now. I can see that because if it's got 6 on it, you'd need a 5 or a 7 to complete it. Now hang on. This can't be 8, 9 either. So we can't put 8, 9 on this short stubby Renban, or we'd have to put 0, 1 into that domino, and that's most certainly not going to work. And that means this short stubby Renban has small digits on it, because we know it hasn't got 6 on it, it's not got 5 or 7 on it, it's not got 8 and 9 on it. So it's 1, 2, 3 or 4. And that can't be a 4. Right, and you can't put 1 on it, because if you put 1 on it, it's obviously a 1-2 pair, and then those squares add up to 15, which is impossible, because 7, 8 isn't going to work, and 6, 9 isn't going to work. So we can get rid of 1. So there's definitely a 3. Look, yeah, okay. So whatever this adds up to, it's got to have a 3 in it now. It's either 2, 3 or 3, 4, and that means that square's an 8. And that square's a 3, and therefore this square's a 3. And there's a 3. Oh, yeah, where do 3 and 4 go in box 1? These two squares, and in fact that's resolved. This is a 3, that's a 4. 4 is in one of those 3 squares. I don't know if we know enough about 3s. These squares have got to be 1, 8, 9. Oh, that's not so helpful. Let's come back to the 18 cage though. We've got, if this was 3 and 2, that's 5. We need these to add up to 13 without being 5, 8, 6, 7. So this would have to be 4, 9, which would work. Okay, if that's 3, 2, 4, 9, you could do that probably. That square's got to be a 4. That square's got to be a 9. I'm just staring at this to see if there's a problem with it, which 3, 2, 4, 9, I'm not actually seeing. That would be a 1, 5 pair, which looks okay. So I don't know how to break that. If it's 3, 4, that's 7. These have to add up to 11 without being 3, 8 or 4, 7 or 2, 9 or 2, 9 or 5, 6. It's not that. This is not 4. You can't make this domino add up to 11 if you do that. It's impossible. So that is 2, and this is 9, 4. And therefore that's not 4. And those two squares I think are 1 and 5 to complete the column. Where does 9? Oh yeah, where does 9 go in box 4 now? We know that 9 is in one of those 3 squares. 9 is sandwiched into the central cell. These squares have now... Oh, where does 6 go? 6 has got to go here. 1 has got to go here, and 5 has got to go here. And that box is now finished. This is a 3 out of nowhere. There's a 4, 5 pair there. a 3 in one of those 3 squares. This square's a 5 just to complete column 1. What do we need to complete column 2? We need 1s and 6s. We need a 6. That's got to go there. That's got to be a 1. Those 2 squares are 7 and something. 2. That's a 2, 7 pair. And that's not a 1. And 9, 3 is still not interrupting my 5, 7, 8. Ah, no, still not interrupting my 5, 7, 8 triple. But look, I've got a 7, 8 pair in row 6. So that domino is a 1, 9 pair, and one of those is on a Renban. So 3 can come out of that square immediately, because that square's got to be a 2 or an 8 to be consecutive with whatever we put in this cell. Cell? What's going on? That's not a 3, that's what's going on. How long have I had? 25 minutes, not too bad. Okay. This one? Is this where we look next? We can see that... Oh, it's the same. It's the same as this one. The short stubby Renban can't be an 8, 9. Because if it's an 8, 9, this domino has to add up to 5. And that's not going to work when you can't use 1, 4 or 2, 3. So this is low digits as well. This is 1, 2s, 3s and 4s. And that one can't be a 4, which is very similar to what went on down there. Let's try... No, okay, and it can't be 1, 2 again, because if this is 1, 2, these 2 squares would have to add up to 19, and no matter how hard and how much pressure I put on the 8 and the 9, they will never add up that high. So this has also got a 3 on it in one of these 2 squares. So this is, again, it's either 3 and 2, which would make this 8, 9, which would make this 1, and that might be possible. Or it's 3, 4, and these 2 have to add up to 15 without using a 6. Ah, okay. So there's always an 8 in this domino. That's what we can say. It's always either 7, 8 or 8, 9. But I don't know. Well, there's a small point there, isn't there? These 8s are aligning in columns 6 and 7. So the way to think about this is to ask how many 8s we expect to find in column 6 of the correct solution to this puzzle. It's a slightly facetious question, but it makes the point. We're only expecting there to be 1 8 in that column, exactly 1. How many 8s are we expecting there to be in this column? Exactly 1. So between these 2 columns, there are exactly 2 8s. And we know that those 2 8s are definitely provided, one by that domino and one by that triomino. So there can't be any more 8s in the rest of this column. There cannot be 8s in any of these cells. And yes, you're right, that is as useful as a chocolate teapot, but it might have been useful, so we never know what's going to be useful, but it wasn't that. Bobbins. Okay, so where else do we look? We shall look, maybe we've got to go down to the W again. Let me just check I can't do more Sudoku. And by check, oh, 3. Hang on, I can do more Sudoku. Where does 3 go in this box? Only there. Which means that's definitely not a 3. It doesn't tell us whether this is adding up to 5 or 7 though, because this can still be a 2 or a 4. But it does tell us where 3 goes in box 3, which tells us where 3 goes in box 6, which apparently doesn't tell us where 3 goes in box 9. Ah, but in box 9 we can ask the sensible question, where does 6 go? And I think it only goes here. Which places 6 in box 6, look. We've now done all the 6s, so forget about 6s, they're not going to help us. This square by Sudoku is a 2, 7 or an 8, just to complete box 6. And 7, 8, 6. Aha, Right, now we've... Yeah, okay. I'm not sure... Well, this is still a little bit useful, because these three squares, which we know were adding up to a number that's divisible by 3, now can no longer include a 6. 7, 8, 9 is too high, obviously. So these 3 digits here... Oh, right, yeah, okay. These 3 digits are selected from the 5 digits 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, if you're going to select 3 consecutive digits from the digits 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, you're going to have a 3 on this this Renban line. So that 3 must go there, which means that is not a 3, and this has become a 3. Actually, I've got a feeling we have done all the 3s. Okay. So do we now know what this line is? And the answer is no. It's still got 3. It's still got 3 options. It can still be 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, or 3, 4, 5. Ah! If it's 3, 4, 5, that would put a 5 here. No, that looks okay. Oh, maybe it's the bottom row. In the bottom row, look, we have not placed or even pencil marked. I can see 2s and 9s. Right, this is interesting. Okay, I don't know if we know where the 2 goes. The 2 could well be on the Renban line, but the 2 must be in one of 3 positions. But the 9 now can't go on the Renban line. In fact, the 9 could never go on the Renban line, because 9, 8, 7 is definitely higher than 21. We can't make those 2 squares add up to -3, however hard we try. So the 9s are in one of those 2 cells, which doesn't do anything. Ah! 5s and 6s, we're stuck. Ah! Can we work out what this is then? If this is 1, 2, 3, these would be adding to 15. Oh, I've got a 3 here. That gives me a 7 there. Sorry, that might be useful. 7. That's not a 7 anymore. Can we get rid of 7 from this square, please? Well, there may be a way of doing it, but I don't know. Doesn't resolve the 7s in box 6 either. Oh, I don't know. Let's come back to this. What were we doing? We were trying to make those 2 squares add up to 15. Now, we can't use 6, 9 because the 6 has gone. So this would have to be 7, 8, which is... might be possible, actually. This square would be a 7, that would have to be an 8. I can't see why that's broken. Alright, let's try, not 1, 2, 3, let's try 2, 3, 4. So that gives us 9 here, so we need 12 here, without using 3, 9. So we're looking at 4, 8 doesn't work, because you can't put a 4 or an 8 in this square. So it would have to be 5, 7 again. That still puts the 7 here, and this square would have to be a 5, which might be... Oh, that would be quite interesting. If I can keep to this position, I've got a 5, 7, 8 triple in row 7. So the only other thing we've got to think about is 3, 4, 5, which is adding up to 12 here, and means those squares have to add up to 9 without using 3, 4, and 5. So they're either they're not 1, 8. So that, oh, right, good grief, okay. It's 2, 7, isn't it? So, right, so the point here is that no matter what the Renban line contains, there is always a 7 in this square. And in fact 3, 4, 5 is impossible, because this square would need to be a 2 then, and it cannot be, because the 2 seems to be down there. So this square is 7, whatever. That square is 9 by Sudoku. That means that's 9 and that's 1. And this square is 2. And therefore that square is not 2, which places 2 on the line, which we could have got from the 1, I suppose. Once we got the 1 there, we knew that the 2 was there. Now, 7. Oh, yeah, where does 7 go in the 20 cage? It has to go here, which means that square's a 5. That's a 5. That's a 4. This is an 8. This is a 5. This is an 8. They are adding up to 15 now, so these had to add up to 6. So the 1 gets placed. This square's a 4. That square's a 4. Wow, 1, 2, 2, 7 all get placed. This is 8, 9, an 8, 9 pairage here. 8 here gives us 8 and 7. Is this just cracking as a result of this? It might be, you know, because this 4 is giving us a 2 here. Now we know this this domino is adding up to 17. It's an 8. Oh, right, it's an 8, 9 pair, and there's an 8 here. So this is an 8, this is a 9, this is a 1. That square is a something. He says buying for time. It's a 7, I think. Okay, what's that square? Surely a 1. I haven't got a 1 in that column yet, which makes that a 5, that a 5, that a 4, that a 4, and that an 8. And that 8 gives us an 8 and a 9. I don't believe it. That square's a 1. That's giving us a 1 and a 2. The 8 up there is giving us an 8 and a 9. That gives us a 9, and that gives us a 2. And I think that with that flurry of activity, we've just finished the puzzle. Good grief. Okay. Well, that's just a lovely puzzle, frankly. There's so much little logic, little snippets of logic around sort of very basic stuff to do with maths. You know, working out that things have to be divisible by 3 or not. You know, that this was an even total. This was quite cunning. How to think about how to take 3 digits out of 4 consecutive digits to ensure that they are divisible by 3. I really liked that. That was very cute indeed. And I really, really liked the fact that whatever, I think it was this 645 and this 123. Yes, it was. That 645 gave me digits on this Renban line. And then I could actually deduce how this Renban line was made up, and that felt like a big breakthrough in the puzzle. It still very much wasn't done, though. It wasn't actually done, I think, until we got this. We got that 7 there, which was not an easy 7 to come by, because we had to firstly fix a 3 onto this Renban line, and then think about those 2 cells, and eventually we were able to work out what they must sum to. Well, we worked out there was always a 7 in this position, and that really did crack it. So it's just a gorgeous puzzle. Lava Lloyd, take a bow, and thanks so much for watching. We'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.